Today we're going to be talking about incorrect versus correct throwing motions. Now the first correct throwing motion we're going to go over has to do with the backstroke. So honestly guys, I'm going to tell you this right now, there is no perfect throwing motion. Every single quarterback, every single human on the planet has got a different genetic makeup, a different body type, so you're obviously going to throw the ball different than somebody else. We get a lot of questions on this page like, hey, what quarterback should I try to mimic, or what quarterback's mechanics should I study? And that's great. I'm glad that you want to study the game, but you should never try to mimic somebody. You want to have your own motion, but be mechanically as efficient as possible with your own motion. Not one NFL starter throws the exact same as another. So let's talk about the backstroke. That's how you take the ball back. An incorrect way to take the football back would be lifting the ball directly to 90, because whenever you throw, it works in like two parts. You take a step to the target and you lift the ball up to 90. When you decide to rotate through, chances are that ball can dip behind your head and you're almost like throwing over the top of your head. And a lot of quarterbacks will lean when they do that. So to prevent that from happening and have this nice like 90-degree or thereabouts release point, you want some type of a backstroke. Now, I don't like it when quarterbacks drop it low either. I want somewhere from this L, slightly below the L, or slightly above the L. Somewhere in this range. And again, whatever's most comfortable when your front foot gets down in your motion. So when your hips decide to rotate through, that ball is far enough away from your head to where you could throw in shoulder pads effectively, obviously, but also you could snap and extend and get more control on your pass. Now, fellas, if you're a quarterback and you guys would like a 2-month-long workout plan that you guys can use to work on your throwing mechanics, your arm strength, your accuracy, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate quarterback training package. What you'll get access to is, like I said, 8 weeks of workouts. We give you an exact schedule to follow. Monday you're doing this, Tuesday you're doing this, on the field, in the gym, exact sets and reps, and a video example of each drill and exercise. So guys, check out that very first link in the description below if you want some more information on that. Let's get back to this video. Now, an incorrect backstroke, though, you guys, that I do want to mention is having the nose of the football straight up or the nose of the football straight down. Let's talk about straight down first. So a lot of quarterbacks who maybe have smaller hands, that's okay, guys. Hand size is not the most important thing in the world. What's important is grip strength. So if you have small hands, I highly recommend strengthening your grip. Fingertip push-ups, hanging from a pull-up bar, doing farmer's carry where you're walking holding 2 heavy dumbbells, so this doesn't happen. But a lot of guys with a weak grip or small hands will go back with the ball and that nose is down. But the problem is that when your nose is down, even if you're getting to a backstroke position, when you rotate through, that can cause a very low elbow. Your wrist tends to break, or maybe you curve the ball and you won't have a pretty spiral or a lot of control on the ball. So guys, we want to try to get my palm parallel to the grass or thereabouts on my backstroke. Now, when I say that, a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll go back and the nose of the football turns up. But the problem with the nose of the ball being up is your wrist has almost like a natural break to it when you release the ball. So guys, your nose should be either straight back or slightly tilted down to have that efficient release position, a stable wrist, and be able to snap and extend on our throws. Now, another correct version of a throwing motion is going to be keeping your front hand tight to your face. A lot of quarterbacks will miss high and low on certain throws because when they throw, they go back into their backstroke, but as they are rotating through, their front hand tends to dip down, their front elbow tends to pull down, and they almost throw the ball like this. Think of your shoulders, guys, like a teeter-totter. Have you guys ever seen like a teeter-totter, like a jungle gym or like near a swing set? When one end gets a ton of weight, the other end pops up. That's how I want you guys to think of your front hand and your front elbow. When this goes down, the other side goes up, and I have this overly high release point outside of my frame. It's okay if you have a high release point, but it's got to be inside your frame. It can't be way over the top of your head, causing us to miss high. So a correct version of a throwing motion is going to be keeping your front hand even with your face or even with your mouth. I say eat a sandwich. If you eat a sandwich with the front hand, your release point is not going to be overly high. If you stay here, your release point is going to stay nice and level, and we can finish through on my throw. Now, an incorrect version of keeping that hand up by your face, eating the sandwich, is going to be having a wild front shoulder. So obviously quarterbacks don't only miss high and low when they throw. When this front elbow rips down, obviously your release point gets high, and if you release it early, goes high, release it late, goes into the ground. Now, a lot of guys will also miss left and right, aka too far in front or too far behind. And usually what that's from is that some quarterbacks, they might keep this hand up tight by their face, but their front shoulder rips around, and they end up finishing, like if I'm throwing towards the camera, their chest is to the left of the camera, causing their arm to cut across. So guys, we don't want to be at that spot. Whenever we throw the ball, we take a stride to the target. Watch any NFL quarterback. This is something that they all have in common. They're not over rotating to get power. They're generating power from their hips, and their front side is staying parallel to the target. You want to keep your hips and shoulders square. That means you should, if like a freeze frame photo of when I release the ball, you should be able to draw a perfect square of my torso, and that means that I'm staying at the target. My release is not outside the frame because I am over rotating and swinging up. Now also fellas, if you are a quarterback and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this off season, we're gonna be coming out to 15 different locations across the country. So guys, if you would like to attend our 2-day long camps, check out that very second link in the description below. Again, the second link in that description below. We're gonna be coming out to San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas. They'll be heading out to Chicago, Illinois, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas, Nevada, Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas. Then we'll be coming out to Boise, Idaho, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some more information? Second link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now the next correct version of a quarterback throwing motion is going to be an extension point. So extension is what every quarterback needs to have when they release the ball. A lot of quarterback coaches will always say, oh, if you're not throwing a spiral, just flick your wrist. But like I could flick my wrist and be like this, where my elbow is turned almost at a 90-degree angle. And a lot of quarterbacks do that. They'll throw, they have great rotation, they have a great sequence, they have a great motion, and then when they get to here, they almost like stop themselves because they don't want to throw the ball almost too hard. Guys, our aiming point needs to be my wrist and my release, that flick in a sense, needs to be 6 inches in front of my front stride. So if I step to the left, my front stride's here, my release wants to be 6 inches in front of my front stride, wrist, elbow, shoulder are connected. And if you guys can do that and combine that with all the motion things that we talked about in this video, you're gonna be a way more efficient and way more accurate passer.